Hi guys, Mark again. Gonna do my second video, my second vlog video. Um, this time it's gonna be on wrestling. As you guys, well, the guys who know me or the people who know that I'm a huge wrestling fan. Got my WrestleMania tank top right now. Been watching wrestling. I started in the late 90s, like 97, 98, when The Rock and Stone Cold was everybody's big favorite. Those were good old days. When WWF was still around was when I first started, and then we kind of took a little break because our mom didn't want us watching it or whatever. But when we got a little bit older, we started back watching it. Like around, when I say we, I mean me and my younger brother. We were huge wrestling fans. Starting like in 2005 is when we kind of started back up. Since then, I've watched videos of like the break I took in between like 99 and 2005, so I kind of caught up on everything that I missed, like the Ruthless Aggression era. But anyway, I just wanted to get started because I'm going to try to keep this sort of short. I guess that's the word I'm looking for, because when it comes to wrestling, I can go on and on and on all day. But I guess I can, kind of like my previous video, I can start from the beginning and go up till now. But I started watching wrestling like in 1997 or 1998 when I was way too young to be watching, but it was so exciting that I loved it. I grew up watching guys like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, Triple H, Kane, Chyna, rest in peace. Just so many memorable faces out there that I even like played the old WCW versus NWO game with Hulk Hogan and Sting, Diamond Dallas Page, Lex Luger, you know, all the old school greats, Andre the Giant, just so many big, huge names back then that still remain huge in wrestling today. A lot of them are Hall of Famers. A lot of them should be in the Hall of Fame, but hopefully they will one day soon. That's how wrestling started off with me. I remember Undertaker and Kane busting Stone Cold up one day, and he just had blood just gushing from his head. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Our mom was like, no. Undertaker and Kane look a little demonic, and I don't want my children watching that. So we took a long break from it. The Rock was my all-time favorite as a child because his mic skills, promo work, his in-ring psychology were just so great. Like, he just captivated you. Same thing with Stone Cold. Mic work was awesome. His brawls backstage were awesome and hardcore. He had great in-ring psychology as well. Even the up-and-coming guys like, like Triple H and Kurt Angle and, dang man, it's just such a good time back then. Then I wasn't watching it per se, but then I started getting into the video games. This is water, for those who are wondering. I had some comments about a red cup. This is water. That was water last time too. But anyways, started playing the video games a lot, and got really into it. Watched a little towards the end of the Ruthless era, Ruthless Aggression era, I should say. And got really interested in the guys like Brock Lesnar. John Cena started coming up. Not a huge fan of him now, but back then I was a huge fan of Cena. He was like my favorite back then. I kind of grew up on Cena. Batista, Randy Orton, Shelton Benjamin. Very underrated talent. Should have been a lot more while he was in the WWE. I heard he was supposed to come back, then he got injured. Hopefully he does come back. I know he's a little older, but I still think he still has that fire in him, kind of like AJ Styles a little bit. But who else is there? Like Shelton Benjamin, his tag team partner Charlie Haas. Gosh, just so much good wrestling and storylines back then. It was just so great. And also, as you guys know, I'm a huge women's wrestling fan. Like back then, if you're a guy and you're like into women's wrestling, you'll get a lot of flack for it. Whatever, I still liked it. There was a lot of great women's wrestling matches. You had the bra and panties matches that us guys or girls as well loved. Those were great. I remember besides Chyna, one of the first women that really caught my attention was Stacy Keibler. She was just so beautiful, and her legs were extremely long. Beautiful woman, just gosh, that woman was like a 20 in my eyes. I was in love with Stacy Keibler. You even had other greats like Trish Stratus, one of the greatest all-time women wrestlers, performers that there is and was and ever will be. 7-time women's champion. Tori Wilson, Bombshell. I loved her. Just as big as a crush as I had on Stacy Keibler and Trish Stratus. Victoria, aggressive, psychotic, beautiful woman, used to come in and kick everybody's ass. Oh, I loved her and Trish Stratus' feud. I used to, as a teenager, I used to hate Victoria. I was like, oh my God, Trish, get her, get that bitch, get her. So you know she was doing her job as a heel. So I kind of started about watching in like 2005. When I was watching, you had Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle had a little rivalry starting with Ashley. I was familiar with Tori, but not Candice. And Ashley, well, I knew Ashley from the Diva Search. So they had a little thing going on, and then Trish Stratus came back in and helped Ashley out against them, and even the odds with Victoria. That was a cool little feud that they had going on. Lita, oh my gosh, Lita was amazing as well. Game changer. Her and Trish Stratus main event in Raw for the first time ever. Sable, beautiful woman. She may have been bitchy, but she was beautiful. And her and Tori's rivalry were great. And then I really started getting more into the wrestling when it came to women. Like after Trish and Lita left, you had a few great wrestlers like Victoria, Mickie James, Melina, who were still, by the way, Melina is a sweetheart. I met her in Orlando during WrestleCon. I don't care what nobody says about her. She is one of the sweetest, beautiful, most athletic, talented women you can meet on the roster. Well, that was on the roster and who's still wrestling today. Melina is awesome. Love her. But they still had a few good matches going on. I really wanted Victoria to take the title again after Lita left. They decided to go with Mickie. It is what it is. Victoria became basically a trainer to help out the newer girls, and then that's when wrestling kind of went downhill for me. Not just for the women, but for the men too. The storylines just got stupid. You had 2-minute women's matches. The bikini shows were great, but I'm like, where's the wrestling? And then with the guys, I was a huge Cena fan at first from like 05 through like 08, but then they just started shoving him down our throats like Cena this, Cena that. He's a superhero guy. I was like, gosh, man, there's plenty of other great wrestlers and people with so much more charisma on the roster, and you guys are just shoving Cena down our face. Yeah, he's okay, but like, you got all these great up-and-coming guys. Like John Morrison was one of my favorites. Also met him at WrestleCon. He's really cool. Carlito, I know he had some issues going on backstage or whatever, but he was a great asset as far as being a wrestler, and the character with the apple was really cool. Again, Shelton Benjamin during this time should have been up there with John Cena, Batista, and Randy Orton. Like, he was that good, but they didn't push him because of his lack of mic skills or whatever they like to say. Shelton was good. He should have been more than what they had him, what they had him be. Wrestling started going downhill, but I was still keeping up because I gotta be loyal. I gotta watch wrestling. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe there's something else besides WWE. Around 2007, I started hearing rumblings of TNA wrestling, and I was like, WCW and ECW were great. I love ECW, the hardcore shit that used to happen there. I can go for hours talking about it, like Tommy Dreamer and Rob Van Dam and he was in WWE. Well, they were in WWE as well, but their original ECW run, not the '06 weird ass WWE ECW type shit, but the original ECW. That was the shit. Like, it really was. But going back to what I was talking about in '07, I kind of started turning into tuning in TNA wrestling. TNA, I started seeing a lot of great action with guys like AJ Styles. You guys know him now in WWE. Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, Suicide, who is TJ Perkins now, Beer Money. The X Division was still great back then as well. God, I hate to forget people because TNA had a lot of greats as well. Eric Young. So many great guys in TNA. And then what really drew my interest when I started seeing Gail Kim at this time, they had her as a valet, and I'm like, where is the women's wrestling? The show is supposed to be so much better, but I don't see any women interacting because, as you guys know, I'm a huge women's wrestling fan as well. Then around, I think that was actually, I take that back, it wasn't 2007, that was like 2006. And then 2007 came, and they announced they were going to start a women's division. I was like, okay, the WWE, their women's division, they have a few good wrestlers, but everybody else is really just models. Of course, they're beautiful. I'm like, I want to see the actual wrestling, like the golden era, like Trish and Victoria and Jazz and Jacqueline and Ivory and all of them. Like, I want to see like real wrestling like back then. So they brought the TNA Knockouts division to life. When I say they brought it. That gauntlet match in Atlanta was amazing. Yeah, Gail Kim, Awesome Kong. Please, WWE, bring her back. Awesome Kong, Karma, whatever you want to call her. She's amazing. I don't care how old she is. She is amazing. Yeah, Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, ODB, The Beautiful People, Shelly Martinez, Jacqueline came back. She was a veteran, but she was still getting her feet in. Roxy Laveau, amazing, very underrated. There was so many women there. I forget who all was there, but that Battle Royal was amazing, especially when Gail and Awesome Kong, you can tell they had like that magic and that chemistry. Gail Kim was the first Knockouts champion. People give her a lot of flack because they think she's overrated or whatever. Gail is great. She's a legend. I met her as well at WrestleCon. Extremely nice, extremely respectful. Gail Kim deserves every bit of respect and every accolade that's given to her, especially since the WWE didn't want to give it to her. But then I was still tuning into WWE here and now and again, and then Victoria left, and I was bummed about that. And then some of the other guys left because they got tired of WWE's crap. If they didn't want like the indie stuff or the really stiff hits, they just wanted just the bodybuilder guys and the Playboy type-ish girls. Like, they wanted everything to be like glass walls, I guess, or cookie cutter type stuff. That's all they liked. The hardcore stuff ended. The cursing ended. They wanted this PG lifestyle because Linda McMahon was going for Republican Senate or something like that. So it just was bad altogether. It was just really bad. I was still being loyal and keeping up, but when I started college in like 2009, between that time and 2013, I barely paid attention. I watched like highlights of some few of the women's matches that I was interested in, like Natalia, who's also one of my all-time favorites, follows me on Twitter. Thank you, Natty. When she finally won the title, even though it was a stupid butterfly belt, that was her moment. Beth Phoenix was kicking ass then. She's a Hall of Famer now. She was amazing. I loved all her matches as well. Gail Kim had made her second comeback to WWE. They didn't really do much with her, but her matches with Alicia Fox and Beth Phoenix and Melina and a few others was really great. Then soon all the good girls started leaving, like Melina and Mickie James had something going on with management, and Beth Phoenix left. Gail Kim quit during the Battle Royal because they were pissing her off. just a lot of people started leaving, going to either back to TNA or other ROH or New Japan or all these other shows besides WWE that were a lot better, that a lot of people in America didn't really know about until everybody got more invested in like the technical wrestling and the cruiserweights and the storylines and all that. Everybody's like, screw WWE, there's a much better product out there. So that's when all that happened. And then 2013, Triple H kind of got, I guess he got a little bit more in charge, him and Stephanie. They got a little bit more power. And it's not just them. I'm sure there's other writers backstage, but things started to pick up a little bit. Like, they brought Total Divas to get you more interested in what women were doing outside of the ring. They started pushing more guys. Like, they're everybody's favorite. I wasn't the biggest fan of them because I still like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, but there's other guys like Tyson Kidd who I think should have gotten. I don't know if his career is over per se. They're saying he can't wrestle again. He hasn't officially announced it, but I always thought he should have had an extreme push, like a Daniel Bryan-ish, CM Punk-ish type push, because he was great in the ring. People gave him flat for his mic skills. I thought it was great. He just stayed there and kicked ass as well. Christian made his return, I think, in like 2009. Was glad to see him back and get a title run as well. Edge retired. I was there at that WrestleMania 27. That was a pretty sad moment. So, like I said, I can keep going and going and going on wrestling, but kind of get up to current day's events when, well, a little bit back then, AJ Lee came and they weren't really doing much of women's wrestling, so they brought her in as a spokesperson mainly. She did a great job as well before she left. Nowadays you have the great action that was in NXT. A lot of those stars are on the main screen now, I should say. NXT really helped change the inside game of how people looked at WWE. You also had Lucha Underground on the other end. Great Lucha themed wrestling show that has more of an American theme out in California. Lucha Underground is amazing. Their wrestling, of course, and the action and the stiffness and all that, and the smoothness and the slickness of all the veterans in the ring. But not just that, it was also the storylines. So NXT and all these other wrestling shows, and in the real world, out there in the real world, I should say. Well, wrestling is in the real world, but you know what I mean, like things that aren't scripted, like in WWE or in any other wrestling promotion. They started pushing more things with women, and I really got invested in NXT because I saw some of my favorites down there trying to reinvent themselves, like Tyson Kidd and we're talking about a minute, and Natalya. And they had a good match with, Natalya had this great match with Charlotte. That really piqued my interest because I was really waiting for Natalya to get her moment back. And Charlotte and Sasha Banks had a great match. Becky Lynch came in. Bayley was coming up. The Four Horsewomen were just killing it in NXT. They brought them up to the main roster. They killed it there. WrestleMania 33, they killed it there. Got rid of the stupid Divas title. Got rid of the Diva name brand. They're equal with the men. Hell in a Cell matches, Falls Count Anywhere matches. The men were doing great as well. You had good wrestlers finally getting pushes and tag title reigns and single title reigns. I ended up going to WrestleMania for the second time this year. Well, not second time this year, but second time in my life. This year I went to WrestleMania 33. Really disappointed that Undertaker is retired, I guess. But it was a great, fun experience. I was happy for Naomi to finally come up. She's one of my all-time favorites, very underrated. Her title win in our hometown. The other thing I want to talk about, people always say that, or I guess people around my age would be like, yeah, wrestling was cool. We all know it's fake now. It was cool back in the day because The Rock or Stone Cold or not. Dude or girl, whatever you call yourself. I hate when people use that terminology about wrestling being fake, because yes, it's scripted. Yes, the moves are choreographed. Yes, they have to learn the moves. You want to call it fake, go try out at the NXT Performance Center and at Full Sail University in Orlando. And then after that, you tell me it's fake. Those bumps when you hit that floor are real. The injuries are damn sure real. People have died in that ring. The backstage politics are real. It's just like you guys watching TV. Like, it's real things happening. Of course, there's the fake hits and the fake kicks and the assisted body slams and all that. That shit really hurts, though. I would like to see you guys try it. Just try it. Or walk up to any wrestler, whether they're in WWE or any other promotion, and tell them that it's real and get their reaction. Not gonna be too pretty. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of people like to make it seem like if you're over 15 and watching wrestling, it's lame. No, it's not. It's something that I like to do. Some of you like watching reality shows that I think are extremely stupid. Watching other TV shows that I think are extremely stupid. There are some sports that I think that are extremely pointless and stupid. But hey, you don't see me saying shit. So that's about it. That was episode 2. This vlog is titled Wrestling. Again, I may be doing more vlogs on wrestling. I might start doing weekly videos on WWE content, or maybe some other content like Lucha Underground or TNA or RNH, ROH or New Japan. It doesn't matter. Love all wrestling. So that was it for today. Again, this vlog isn't just for venting or trying to spark anyone's attention or anything. It's just me talking or sharing my life, sharing things like my interests, goals, giving advice to some things that you guys might not know. So, don't know what the next episode is going to be, but should be pretty good. So, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I will talk to you guys next time.